we're gonna get started. Thank you everyone for being here, and we'll just let people come in as they do. Today we're doing marketing through social media. If you want to learn more, please visit our website www.sanpabloedc.org. Before we get started, we're gonna go over some housekeeping items. Um, this webinar is being recorded. A recording will be available on our website www.sanpabloedc.org. Any resources mentioned during the presentation will also be available on our website. Everyone who attended will also get a copy of the link after we upload it to our social media YouTube channel. All attendees are muted. If you are having issues with audio, you may need to click on the webinar screen to enable audio. We welcome your questions. Please type them in the Q&A box, and we will answer them at the end of the webinar, if the time permits. A little bit about the San Pablo EDC. The mission of the San Pablo Economic Development Corporation is to act as a catalyst for equitable economic opportunity. Some programs and services we offer is to support advancement. We focus on employment training and support, home ownership, business resources, and access to capital. Again, if you want to learn more, you can visit our website at www.sanpabloedc.org. I want to give you a special shout out to our partners, Volair Strategic Advisors, who will be presenting today. And Natalie, you may now share your screen.
Thank you, Marco. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending today. Today, we are going to be discussing social media basics for small business owners. The goal of this webinar is to empower small business owners to harness social media to attract more customers. And today, you will hear from me, Natalie Hernandez. I am a communications specialist at Volair Strategic Advisors. You will hear from Tracy Nguyen. She is the co-owner of Caffeine Depot and also a communications specialist at Volair Strategic Advisors. And you will also hear from Luis Garcia, who is a freelance photographer and creative content producer at Volair Strategic Advisors. And Volair Strategic Advisors is a full-service strategic communications firm offering public relations, crisis management, and communication strategies that help organizations achieve their full potential. And we are headquartered in the heart of Silicon Valley. Thank you, San Pablo EDC, for inviting us today. And we're very excited to talk about social media for small businesses. So the first question is, why use social media? So if you're a small business owner, you should be asking yourself, are your current or potential customers active on social media platforms? Do you want to build relationships and stay top of mind with your audience and your customers? Are your competitors active online? And if your customers are online, then social media is a powerful, low-cost way to connect, build your reputation, and grow your business. 50 to 62% of the world's populations are social media users, and they spend an average of 2 hours and 27 minutes on social channels every day. And 82% of the total US population, ages 12 and up, is using social media. And that's about 235 million people. So social media gives small businesses a way to compete with larger companies for attention, and it allows you to engage and build relationships with customers. Your customers are definitely online. That's the main point. And so which social media platforms are best for small businesses? You might be looking at a variety of these platforms and thinking, which one do I start with? One of the great things about social media is as you get into content creation, you can post across pretty much all the platforms with the same type of content, whether it's a photo or a video or a text post, a website link, anything like that. So Facebook is a great platform for small businesses because there's a wide demographic range. It spans all age groups, genders, and interests, and you can provide a full customer service journey from first touch to final sale. And Instagram also offers that kind of customer service journey. It's great for fashion, food, or film industries. And it's important to use photos and videos on that platform. The majority of the users are between 18 and 34. And you'll find that videos go very far on Facebook and Instagram, as well as TikTok, which is a video-based content. LinkedIn is great for consultants or those who need to reach other businesses. It's basically businesses talking to each other. TikTok is best for video-based content. It requires creativity and time, and the audience tends to skew towards the 18 to 24 range. Pinterest requires visual content to stand out. Women aged 25 to 34 represent 29% of Pinterest ad audience, while men make up only 50%. So there's lots of different options. There's also X, there's also Blue Sky. You can really get into these very niche platforms. There's Instagram Threads. But if you're making, a video or a photo or anything like that, you can basically apply them to all those. So definitely take the time to learn which platform you are most comfortable with, where your audience is, and you can get started on any one of them. Now I will hand it over to Tracy Nguyen, so she can tell you more about her experience and her expertise.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Natalie, and thank you, Marco, for having us today. My name is Tracy Nguyen, and I am a communication specialist here at Belair Strategic Advisor. I am also the co-founder of Cafe & Depot, which is a home-based cafe here in San Jose, where I live. It's home-based cafe is something very new, so I would love to, introduce a little bit more about us. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. So we are a home-based cafe where customer, place their online or their orders online and pick them up from a home. Now I know this business model is somewhat, a little bit different than the way you run your business. You might own a storefront, you might have a physical location where your customer go in, or you might, own your own consultant service. But I hope, today you find some ideas and inspiration to start your own social media account. So if you have already started, you can find some inspiration to ramp up your content on social media. So about Cafe & Depot, because we don't have a traditional storefront, our business truly thrives on social media. It's how we connect with our customers, promote our menu, build our brand. So when my husband and I started, we really, wanted a chance to build our online presence first before we actually think about opening a physical cafe. So that is why we started this account on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. But now we primarily use Instagram and TikTok to reach our core audience, who mostly are young professionals and students in the age of 18 to 35 who love, high quality coffee and matcha that are affordable. Most of our content on social media is features eye-catching drinks, behind the scenes, and fun reels that tap into trending TikTok sounds, which somewhat helped us went viral during these past month. We actually launched at the end of December 2024, and we recently hit 4,000 followers on Instagram, which might not be a big achievement, but for us, it's somewhat, a big milestone as we're still selling from home. We're still, trying to build our brand first as we're building our actual cafe. And I believe, my knowledge as a communication specialist here at Belair, I work mostly on social media for our clients. So I'm very grateful for the knowledge that I've learned in school and from my work experience that helped me, build my own brand on the side. And today, I would really want to share more about what we've learned as small business owner and some, tips that I've learned in my career so far to you guys so that you can better, build your social media presence and gain more customers. And that leads us to an important point that I really want to touch on today for any businesses, big or small, is that knowing your customer is key. and not just for creating good content, but for building lasting relationships and also effective marketing strategies for your brand, your products and service. So let's look at how you can better understand your own customer to help shape, the content and the approach that works best for your business. Then we can go to the next slide. To make social media truly work for your small business, I believe you should start by getting to know who your customer are. You can ask yourself these simple questions. What are their ages? What are their interests? What habits do they have? Or what needs or preferences keep them coming back to your service? Pay close attention to your daily interactions with your customer. Watch who visit you, what they purchase from you, and the questions or feedback they share with you. Those are the insight that will help you understand the customer profile, who they are, and identify the common traits among your best customer. I'd say think about who they are. Do they tend to be students? Do they tend to be families or single working professionals? These information will help you understand your core audience, therefore help you better produce the social media content that work for them. Let's say if you're a restaurant owner and you notice that most of your regular are families, then you might want to post more about meal deals for kids or featuring fun activities you have for kids at your restaurant. Or if you're, let's say, a laundromat owner and you see most of your customer are college students, you might want to introduce a student discount Monday or something that, for those who follow you and engage, tag you online, they get a discount 10% if they visit you on certain day. So those are the very first the very first few questions that I would think about when we start social media. And then we can go to the next slide. But when we talk about social media, many especially family-owned small business owner feel overwhelmed by the many social media trends and the content that you see every day on your phone, and you might feel unsure of what to share or how to connect with your customer online. I would say sometimes when I first started, I always wonder, what should I post? How do I connect with these people? Like starting from scratch, I had 0 followers. And the good news is you don't have to be an expert to make real impact or to gain followers. With simple ideas, anyone can build trust and attract more customer, even if you're just getting started. I would say these are some content ideas that you can start with. Tell your story, share why you started your business, what makes it special. For us, my husband and I are both Vietnamese, and Vietnamese love drinking their coffee, and it's something that's embedded in our culture, and we want to promote that. We're proud of it, and we're selling coffee. And we share the story why we started, the ingredients that we imported from Vietnam. Why is Vietnamese coffee good? We talk about not just the product, but us, the people behind it, because people love to support you, to support real people, not just brands. So I'd say highlight your culture, highlight your family. Let's say if you're a restaurant owner, and you can always share how your family recipes came from your home country and why you opened your own restaurant. On social media, it's a very good opportunity for you to showcase your product and service. If you, let's say, you're a consultant firm, you'd have your own website, but then social media is also a great channel for you to showcase, let's say, behind the scenes, their photos, video, customer testimonials, and unique features or bestsellers on your menu. So demonstrate, how your product and service solve problems or bring joys to your customer is something social media can help you do. And I would say social media is a two-way communications platform where you can communicate about your product, your service, but you can also hear from your customer. Nowadays, as most of our customer would have their own social media account in order to order from us. So what we see that works best is that we would, let's say, encourage a customer to tag us. If they buy 2 drinks from us, we ask them, hey, we'd love to see it, love to hear your thought. If you do post a picture, tag us, and then we'll go in and repost the story or the photos, and of course with their permissions. So those positive reviews and tags help build trust and also attract new customer who are the customer followers. So these are just a few ideas, to keep in mind next time you create content for your business. And whether it's product highlights, customer story, or your business journey, what matters most is staying consistent on social media. And that leads to my next slide. I really think social media is more more about consistency than perfection. Sometimes you see a viral TikTok video, there's no high production editing behind it, but it's still going viral because of the imperfection behind it. So when it comes to social media, it's about being active and being timely. I say post consistently to keep your business top of mind and tell your audience that you are reliable and you're engaged. Whether it's once a day or a few times a week, the key is to stick to a rhythm that works for you. Be consistent in your voice, in your visuals, in your messaging. Helps build a cohesive and recognizable brand, especially if you're trying to build let's say, a consultant service. You want your voice to be a professional, fitting, and formal. If you're a barber, you want to attract more, young college student, you might want to choose a voice that is fun, catchy, and using, trendy music that work for that type of customer. Lastly, I would say growth doesn't happen overnight. Be patient. Consistency is key, and your efforts add up. So every post is an opportunity to connect, to build trust, and to increase visibility. And I hope these insights give you inspiration to start your own social media accounts and confidence to engage with your audience online. Now I'm happy to pass it over to Luis Garcia, who'll be sharing tips for the creative process behind social media.
All right, thank you, Tracy. And again, thank you, Natalie and Marco. So to begin a little bit about myself, I am a freelance photographer and a creative content producer here at Wolair Strategic Advisors. I've been photographing sports, weddings, portraits, music, and live events for the past 10, 12 years or so. And let's go on to the next slide. So touching upon and building upon some of the topics Tracy talked about, I'll be going in a little bit more in depth on the creative process. So one thing to keep in mind when you are creating content for your social media like Instagram, X, Facebook, first key point we might touch upon is composition. Don't be afraid to mix up. Rather than always have your subject centered, whether that be either your service or your product, mix it up with a variety of wide and close-up shots and off-center photos. This will allow your social media to kind of be more staggered, give it a little bit more variety. One thing to also keep in mind is adding props. For example, this photo in the middle, let's say you own a boutique and you have a watch. Rather than just take the photo of a watch, maybe add things centered around it to give it a little bit more variety, a little bit more dynamic to your photo. Point number 3, remember to capture it all. There is a process that involves your good or service that is just important as your final output. Capture behind the scenes moments with employees or even tools you use in everyday workflow. So again, it adds a lot of variety. People love to see what goes into making your product, what goes into your service. For example, if you're a barber, what type of clippers are you using? What kind of interactions are you having with your clients? If you own a pizzeria, people love to see the process. People love to see the wood stove oven, maybe the cheeses or the ingredients that go into your process of making your pizza. So it adds a lot of variety rather than uploading the same type of stylistic photo. And let's say, for example, if you own a pizzeria, people know your service and product already. So mixing it up helps break up the what we call a grid for Instagram and social media. Let's go on to the next slide. So one thing I get asked a lot as someone who has been in the creative industry for a while is, what should I buy? What camera should I buy? What type of lighting equipment should I get? And my go-to answer is the best equipment you could get is the ones you already have. So utilizing your resources. For example, our phones today are incredibly good at taking high quality photos. Although it may seem tempting, remember your phone is able to capture high quality images with enough practice. Video quality is equally as good as our iPhones and Androids both record in 4K. Natural lighting, use natural lighting to your advantage. Find a well-lit area in your business where your subject will be well-lit. In darker spaces, your camera or phone will struggle to adapt to a dark area, causing your photos to become naturally grainy or blurry. So that is very important. That's something that you really want to avoid because it will almost hinder your photo, making it look different from one another. So one thing we really want to maintain is consistency throughout your photos or videos. Another thing to keep in mind is your team contribution. Allow your team the freedom to also capture content while on the job. The more hands you can get on deck, the more diverse your content will be. Different people see things differently and allow others to have creative freedom, especially if you have a younger employee. They are very on trend with what's going on social media, and they tend to be very creative. So allow your team to kind of alleviate some of that stress of having to consistently create for your social media. And let's go on to the next slide. So one way you could get the most out of your social media as well as your phone, we'll start off with the first point in the middle. Typically your phone is factory set to capture the highest quality photo, so that's one less worry off your plate. For videos, however, you want to open up your camera. This will be for iPhone specifically. You want to open up your camera, slide over to the video tab, and once you get there, you'll see a HD on the top right corner. You want to switch that to 4K, then tap the number right next to it, switching it to 60. So essentially what this will do for you guys is it'll give you the highest quality video. One thing to keep in mind though for this, it does take a lot of information on your phone. So every now and then you'll want to go through your phone and delete any old videos that you don't find necessary or you don't want to repeat on your social media. And then on the left-hand side, so Instagram is capped off on a rendering upload for your photos, but the most we could get out of it, the better. So one thing you want to do is once you set up your social media profile, if you do not have one, go to your Instagram profile. There's going to be 3 bars on the top right-hand corner. You'll end up scrolling through your settings and down to media quality, and then you'll turn up the highest quality button. And don't worry if you don't get all this down. As mentioned, this will be all accessible to you later. Same thing will go for Twitter. You'll navigate through your settings, and then on your profile, you'll click settings and privacy. You'll go to accessibility, display, and languages. From there, you'll find data usage, and you'll be able to find a control for your highest quality settings. So again, if let's say you do have a camera, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, they will render it down to a lower setting just so it's capable of uploading your media, but it'll still give it a little bit of more what we call a dynamic range, and it'll just look a lot sharper, a lot cleaner once you do get those photos and videos up. And then one thing to mention too while creating and photographing and videographing is you want to take your time, build up a collection, what we would call a library of photos and videos. Because if, let's say, you have 3 really good photos and you upload them within the first 2 days, then you just run out of media and you almost broken up your rhythm. So now you have to restart from point A. So one thing I would suggest is taking maybe a week or two, collecting a ton of photos, a ton of videos. It doesn't have to be, over 50, but at least 10 to 15. And this will give you a nice little collection to begin. And once you do that, you can upload maybe every 2 days, every 3 days, and you won't have to worry about consistently running out of photos. So that's just one thing to keep in mind as you're building your own media collection. And that will be all I have for you guys on my creative end.
Thank you so much, Luis and Tracy. So here are some mistakes to avoid. As Luis mentioned, avoid posting on an irregular schedule and don't post when your audience is least active, which would be late night and early morning. Most people are checking their phones, their social media apps, all day, but most people are checking them in the middle of the day between 8 to 5 a.m. And based on your audience and your customers, when you start building that social media profile, you can see when your engagement is most active. You can see when people who follow you are liking your posts. You just have to play around with the settings and the features of every social media platform. So post regularly and use a consistent tone. Find the voice that you want to use when you're posting on social media. Find the voice of your company. And don't post without reviewing for spelling and accuracy, and review every post for quality prior to posting. So make sure you're sharing a picture that's not blurry. The lighting is good. The video doesn't, it's not muted or anything like that. And some key takeaways: start with what you have, be authentic, and connect with your community. There are a variety of creator resources for all levels of proficiency. A lot of times platforms will recommend like in-platform programs for creators who are just starting. If you happen to go viral, all of a sudden you might find some more resources are being offered to you, but at the same time, there's small business incubator programs that can help you with your marketing. You can consult, a public relations firm. There's YouTube videos. There's lots of resources out there to help you get started on taking photos, making videos, this webinar in particular. And social media is a powerful free tool. So use it to tell your story and grow your business one post at a time. Thank you so much. Any questions? Let's see, Marco, I'm also going to hand it over to you.
Yeah, so if anyone has a question, you can either, well, first of all, I want to say thank you to the Volair team. Amazing presentation, like always. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can either put them in the chat, raise your hand, come off mute, or write them down in the Q&A, and we will answer them live. Um, I have Carlos. Um, so go ahead, Carlos. Saw your hand first.
Hi, thank you. It was very good. I was typing it right now, but anyway, I see that the target market you have is limited in the sense that it's from 18 to 34, right? Do you have any more direction in terms to older generation? Follow me? My market, my target market is older than 40.
Yes, Tracy, did you like to answer that?
Yeah. Carla, may I ask what's your business is or what's your product is?
Yeah, well, I do business consulting. It's not a tangible per se, but it is. How can I put it up? But we do minority business certification. We do local business registration. We do mostly type of how to start up your business, how to get contracts, stuff like that.
Got it, got it. Sounds good. I do think for your customer age range, either Facebook or LinkedIn would work really well. I'd say, LinkedIn is one of the best platforms out there where you can professionally promote your service as a consultant or as an advisor. Most of the time people go on LinkedIn to see if you're established. You can always share one of your customer testimonials, share in detail, what is it that you do. I'd say be specific. Sometimes when people hear about a consultant, they might not know what you do or
Well,
what service.
one of the lines that we're working on is on Medicare,
Mhm,
Medicare for seniors turning 65.
mhm.
And so it's
Yeah.
very specific.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. So I'd say maybe for older, audience, we always rely on word of mouth. If you have your customer, or if your customer is willing to maybe use one of their testimonial to post online. But in my personal experience, having an established either LinkedIn profile or a website where people can just briefly understand what is it that you do, who you are, what is your qualification, then that'd be like some very like good starting points.
Okay, thank you.
Then I have Kieran asked the question here at the Q&A box, so I would just go ahead and say it. It says, can you please also mention entering information on Google Maps and the free Google business profile?
Yes. So yes, Kieran, definitely. If you own a business, you definitely want to make sure that all the business information is claimed online. So on the Google business profile and Google Maps, you want to make sure that the right address and phone number and website is linked there. You want to make sure that you're claiming your business on Yelp. If you're already on Yelp, if you're receiving reviews, that way you can see the reviews that are coming in on the ratings platforms, where people give you stars for your business, because that is also another form of social media where people are going to be leaving comments and pictures and messages. And people rely on those business reviews to decide if they're going to visit your business or not. So definitely make sure that you're claiming your business on the Google business profile and on Yelp and any other website where your business is being rated.
Thank you, Natalie. I have a question for Voler. Recently I've been seeing a lot of AI commercials, especially on TikTok. And at first it was just people, um, just random people, but now I think it's trending, and there's a lot of actual companies, big companies now using like AI commercials, and usually they're like pretty funny commercials, and like try to make people laugh. Um, are you guys also, like Volair, is it thinking of like doing something similar? I know, like, I just wanted to ask that.
Um, I can start. So I'd say AI is like a tool, a very helpful tool for everyone in any industry. And I'd say, we use AI as a tool to help us level up our work or to stay efficient. But at the end of the day, when it comes to social media content creation or marketing in general, it's all about owning your voice and your story, right? So um, you still need that human being factor behind every product. You still want to, own your voice and tell your story so that AI can replace. Um, and AI can be a tool with editing, with finding the right music, with generating caption, but brainstorming and building your brand from scratch or building your social media presence takes a lot of I'd say human effort in overall and time. And you can always, I'd say there's so many AI tools helping you with content creation, content management, help you plan out a calendar of content for your week or for your month. But at the end of the day, I always encourage people think of their brand, think of themselves. If they a one person firm, as a brand, how do you want to talk about yourself? How do you want to present yourself online to start with? So that's my answer. I don't know if Natalie or Luis want to add on.
No, I totally agree with Tracy. I think just another example that I would add is, with Tracy's business, if I'm going to buy a coffee, I want to know that what I'm looking at is like a real photo of the product, and AI might not be able to replicate that, correctly. So, that is very true that you want to be able to have control and ownership of your brand, your business, your story. So I agree with Tracy. Well said, Tracy.
I'll touch up on it a little bit as well as a creative. Yes, I have seen those AI commercials as well. And as someone who creates on a regular basis, although AI is helpful, there is just something off when you're looking at these AI commercials. It just doesn't look right. Maybe it could be the faces or the hands or the way everything's just kind of colored in. And again, circling back to what Tracy and Natalie say, there is that human touch that is missing, that AI just can't replicate. It can't replicate those day-to-day human interactions. So although it is helpful in some areas, as a creative, I don't think it's fully there yet.
Thank you. If anybody else has a question, you could raise your hand, drop in the question on the chat or on the Q&A box. This is a one-time opportunity to ask away, and we have 18 minutes. I guess going what? Oh, yes, Carlos, I will be sending the recording to everyone that attended or registered. So yeah, don't worry about that. You'll have this in your email. He also said thank you to the Volair team. Amazing presentation.
So it looks
Oh,
like
Alexandria has one. Okay. Alexandra asked, how do you suggest business owners create campaigns?
so I can go ahead and start, and then Tracy, you can add. A campaign, I would say, yes. So if there is something that's recurring, you know, in your community, in your business, if you notice that you have like there's something particular about your business that's very popular, whether it's a service or you know, a product that happens every once in a while, or it's something that happens consistently, you can focus on a particular product that you're offering and create, you know, posts about this one specific offering. So, you know, if I were a business owner, like if I was running, you know, a restaurant and something that was very popular was like blueberry pancakes, maybe I would have posts saying that there's a deal, and those posts would run, you know, in a specific pattern. And so you want to share information repeatedly that's about something specific that will boost engagement, that will draw people's attention if you see that it's something that's very popular in your business. It's really about focusing on particular, you know, topics, products, and being consistent with that messaging. And we also have a question that says, I guess this is, I don't know if this is a two-parter, but Tracy, did you want to add something about campaigns?
I think campaign might sound very complex, but at the end of the day, it's like Natalie say, you might want to think about the selling point of your business. Let's say I know a tax preparer here locally in San Jose. She's always market herself as someone who does it very fast. And if if you don't have the time to prepare your tax early on, she's always there to help you with the last minute um, application or process. So she would always like market herself as someone who is very timely. Her team is always available. They speak Spanish, Vietnamese. You know, those are the key points. Maybe to time you want to repeat that on social media or to your customer or to let's say a prospective customer as well, because they might not know about those selling points of yours that can be very helpful to them. So know your selling point, your best seller, the thing that customer come to you most, for your timely service, for your let's say bilingual skill to help out, someone who doesn't speak English as a first language, that be the selling components that you want to repeat over time in person and on social media in your campaigns. And then I think Alexandra also asked a question for me, do I boost my post when it comes to my cafe business? The answer is no. We got very lucky with some of our TikTok videos being viral when we first started. And funny enough, one of the TikTok videos that got viral was actually not our TikTok. It's was created by a local food reviewer. She is someone who, likes to go to check out coffee shops or restaurants. And then one day she posted a video, reviewing our coffee. And then that post really went viral. And that really helped us, with being online and not having a physical location. It's the online words of mouth that really helped us kind of like got our position in the San Jose market kind of. And we haven't really thought about boosting. It's not something I'd say healthy in the long run, but it can be something, if you're just starting out, from scratch, creating your social media accounts, and that's also an option to look at.
Hey Tracy, can you just like a brief definition of what boosting means?
Mhm. So boosting is when you go on either Facebook or any platform nowadays allow you to use a certain amount of budget to target a specific audience in a specific location. You can pick and choose who they are, their age range, their interest. Let's say they are 65 and older, or they, single working professionals who works in healthcare in San Pablo or in, let's say, Berkeley area. Those are the specific things social media platforms allow you to do when you boost and you choose your budget. You maybe I'll say $100 for 5 days. So within those 5 days of boosting your post, it could be a graphic, it could be a still image, it could be a video. That post will be standing out to those specific target audience that you chose in the first place, and sending out your message. Basically, I'd say, boosting is helpful when you have a planned post. You have a clear call to action and what you want to do with that post, whether, drive sales or driving more followers or get people to call your business. It's important to have a clear call to action when it comes to boosting a post.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, anybody else? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right. Well, I want to thank Natalie, Tracy, Luis, and Alexandra from the Volair team, Strategic Advisors. Amazing presentation. Thank you everyone who came along. And again, you will have this information um, provided to your email. Just look out for an email in the following couple days or week or so. Again, my name is Marco Sandoval. I am the Business Development Analyst here at the San Pablo Economic Development Corporation. If you have any questions, I provided my information on the screen. I could also put it on the chat. But yeah, if anyone doesn't have any more questions, um, feel free to. Thank you, team.